Who are my top 5 best and worst teams in the entire NFL? I'll explain that to you on today's video. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Friday videos of the Titans Rundown. I am your host, Micah McCamey, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about who I think are the best teams in the NFL and who I think are the worst teams in the NFL. Now, I'm going to give you an entire list because I'm not too sure if some people want to see just my top 5 best and worst. I think that there are going to be some people that want to see my entire list. So I'll just put that up in a picture right here. Just, let it sit there for a few seconds. If you want to pause, that's all right. Anyway, now let's get into today's video with the top 5 best and the top 5 worst teams in the NFL. All right, let's start out with, we're going to alternate. I'll go with the 5th best and the 5th worst, 4th best, 4th worst, something like that. All right. So coming in at number 5 for my best, I have the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Baltimore Ravens are a very interesting case because, here's the thing. I know that a lot of people are going to be upset at me about this, that they're only number 5 and that they're not top 3 or heck, even in the top 2 of best NFL teams right now. Because, yes, they have Derrick Henry, all right? Yes, they have Lamar, they have a great defense, and they even have solid skill positions. But I saw that Lamar lost a lot of weight over the offseason, and I'm not saying, I'm not doing an opposite of Colin Cowherd right now saying, oh, well, he's not big and strong enough. All that I'm saying is that, whenever he added on weight, he was able to stay healthy and won an MVP. Whenever he didn't have that weight that he added on, he got hurt, and he wasn't even able to, do that much in the playoffs. So I think that they could very well suffer from a Lamar Jackson injury. If Lamar would have kept on that way, I would have 100% be telling you this team is top 3. But I just don't know if Lamar is going to stay healthy. Combine that with the fact that they lost their defensive coordinator, who I think personally is one of the best defensive minds in the game right now, in Mike McDonald. And so that's why I have them at number 5 best. All right, now transitioning into the worst list. Coming in at number 5, I have the Washington Commanders. This team is not good, all right? I know that a lot of people are going to try and overhype this team because, rookie QB Jayden Daniels looks like he's going to be a stud. He's got a great receiver core. Well, first off, their O-line is trash. Second off, most of their defense is not that good. Now, maybe Dan Quinn will help settle the boat right there, and the defense can at least look okay in year 1 under Dan Quinn. Did I say Campbell? If I said Campbell, I am sorry. But, I think that, this team just doesn't have the star power to be that great this year. I mean, if Jayden Daniels balls out like he did at LSU, maybe not that dominantly, but if he's just good this year, then I could see this team being fine, middle of the road. But I don't think Jayden Daniels is going to have a great rookie year. I'll just put it that way, all right? I think that he is going to have a flashy rookie year, but I still don't think the team is going to be that good overall. And again, health concerns with Jayden Daniels. I know that a lot of people are probably going to be upset at me about that, but all that I'm saying is that I did put health into consideration whenever it came to this list, all right? Okay, now we move on to the 4th best. At number 4 for the best teams in the NFL, I have, a lot of people are going to really hate that I have this. But you know what? Whatever. I have the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, hold on, okay? Before you grab your pitchforks and your knives and all that type of stuff, everything that is used for mobbing, I just want to make my point, all right? Joe Burrow's coming back. I think that he is going to come back with some vengeance, with some fire, and I think that the receiver core is truly going to absolutely rock of course, because this is probably the last dance with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase as a receiver duo. And also, I really like that kid that they have. I think that I don't know that much about the Bengals, but I know that there's this one kid from Purdue. I think his name is like Charlie Jones or something. I really like how he plays, and if he goes to wide receiver 3, then I think that he could be pretty good. But hey guys, guess who it is? Editing Micah. Okay, so I need to clarify something. I forgot that the Bengals had drafted Jermaine Burton, and if that hadn't had happened, and if I would have known that, I would have probably mentioned him as wide receiver 3. Again, defense is still great. They went 9-8 last year with Jake Browning as their starting quarterback. Now, I like Jake Browning, don't get me wrong, but that's still, not amazing. Now, of course, the reason I can't even put them in the top 3 over these next 3 guys is because, well, first off, they lost their hotshot offensive coordinator. So, why would they even be considered for this, even with that? But also, combine that with the fact that their O-line is also very questionable. Both of those things combine into leaving this team outside of the top 3. All right, and Joe Burrow's health is obviously something that we got to consider too, because he has been a little bit injury prone up to this point in his career. Whenever he's been on the field, he's been a beast, but whenever he's not been on the field, but he hasn't been on the field as much as some of these other guys. All right, moving on to the 4th worst team in the NFL, we have the Denver Broncos. Oof, man, I know that's because sports ain't gonna be happy with me for this one. Yeah, no, Broncos are bad. They had a good record last year, and I'm not even putting them in this bottom 5 because I think that they are genuinely one of the 5 worst overall rosters in the NFL. The only reason that I'm even putting them this low is just because I don't know about Bo Nix. If Zach Wilson starts, they're going to be getting absolutely destroyed every week, and they play in a division that I expect to actually be pretty competitive. Even though there are 2 new head coaches, the Raiders have a very good defense, and they have playmakers on offense. That'll keep them competitive even with their mid offensive coordinator. And you have the Chargers, who have one of the better coaching staffs in the entire NFL, and I'm just saying that right now. All right, obviously we got to see Jim Harbaugh in a modern day, on a modern day team, but I still think that he's not going to have lost a step, and I think that this team is still going to be primed to do what they did a few years ago whenever they made it to the playoffs. All right? Okay. Now we move on to the 3rd best team in the NFL. At number 3, I have the Detroit Lions. Now, okay, I know that some people are, again, going to be mad at me about this. Man, Detroit's Detroit. They're going to fall off of a cliff now because they had one good season. That's just how the curse goes. Shut up. Holy cow. Why on earth do you still expect, it's the same old Lions? It's not. All right? Dan Campbell is completely different to anything else that they've had. Ben Johnson, one of the best offensive minds in the NFL. Brad Holmes, one of the best GMs in the NFL right now. All right, this is not the same old Lions like y'all want to say it is. All right, I think that that's mostly Bears fans trying to hold a grasp that they are now the worst team in the division, but we're not getting into that right now. Or the Vikings fans even. But anyway, rant aside, the Lions are really good. They have everybody return. They have practically the entire roster returning. They still have that great running back duo. They still have Amon-Ra, Josh Reynolds. They still have Penei Sewell and that incredible offensive line. They brought back most of the defense and added on a secondary. Secondary has been their biggest struggle in the past few years under Dan Campbell. So, now that they've got that fixed, I don't see a universe where this team cannot make a Super Bowl run. I genuinely believe that they could go to the Super Bowl if it wasn't for the next guys on the list, but we'll get to that later. All right, 3rd worst team in the NFL. I have the New York Giants. There is not that much hope for this team. Oof, man. Daniel Jones is your starting quarterback. I genuinely could just end it there, but I'm gonna keep going. All right. I like most of their roster. I like some of their roster. Like Andrew Thomas is really good, but I'm not too sure if he's going to stay healthy. When Andrew Thomas is injured, that whole O-line just falls flat and apart. So I'm worried about that. But the defense, I think, could be pretty decent, and that's like the only reason that I think they could win some games. But like, I think that the quarterback position, like outside of quarterback, I think this team would have potential to be pretty solid. But I feel like that the quarterbacks, yes, Drew Lock included, are going to completely drag down this team. And their best receiver is a rookie. And obviously, and he's not going to have good chemistry with Daniel Jones. Let's be real, all right? He has not said a good thing about Daniel Jones to the media. Now, hold on. Correct me if I'm wrong, New York media, because I know that, like, you know, I am not one to judge what's happening in other fan bases, because the truth is, Titans have that happen to them all the time. And I am sick and tired of that. So, New York media, if Malik Neighbors has said great things about Daniel Jones in training camp, then tell me otherwise. But anyway, getting caught off guard, all right? Now we move on to the two best and the two worst teams. The ultimate mountaintop of absolute greatness and teams that I think we could see in the Super Bowl, and the mountaintop of absolute garbage, teams that could be competing for the number one pick. Second best team in the NFL, I have the San Francisco 49ers. This team is dang near, if this was a few years earlier, this team would be the best team in the NFL, and it wouldn't even be close. All right? They are a holeless roster. I don't see that many problems. Negatives are that they'll probably end up losing one of their two receivers in the offseason. Then combine that with the fact that the rest of their O-line isn't that great. Trenton Williams has been carrying that O-line for years. And even though he is an ageless wonder, I feel like that there's going to be some day where he falls off, right? So I really like that team. And I like the coaching staff. I like everything about them. But there's obviously somebody that is going to be better. And I will get to those guys right after I tell you about these worst guys. The second worst team in the NFL is the Carolina Panthers. Now, this team has the most potential out of the bottom five, to me at least, to jump up a couple of spots. I think Bryce Young was dealt with unfairly in his first year. He had a bad O-line. He had bad receivers, except for Adam Thielen, you ageless wonder. And the defense was just okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. Now, getting rid of Brian Burns was not a good first step, but they upgraded the O-line. They upgraded the receiver core with Xavier Legette. And they also had Deontay Johnson. So this team is overall improved, and I could see them being sneaky good, especially with that head coach that they brought in, who I think is a QB guru potentially. So overall, I really like this team to be very competitive. Competitive does not mean that they're going to win games. Let's be real, all right? So overall, I think this team is going to be competitive, but I still don't think they're going to be that good. Sorry, Panthers fans. It's just my personal opinion. All right. Now, the pinnacle of all greatness in the NFL, and potentially the pinnacle of sports right now. Number one, Kansas City Chiefs. You already know it. Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the game, best head coach in the game, best tight end in the game, good O-line with the best center in the game, good D-line. I'm not too sure if he's the best D-lineman in the game, but Chris Jones. Good secondary, even though they lost that really good player named L'Jarius Sneed to the Titans, I believe. Obviously, I'm messing around, but like secondary is still going to be pretty good. Spagnuolo, maybe the greatest defensive coordinator of all time for all I know. So Chiefs are number one. I don't like Taylor Swift, and that's about all I really got to say. I kept that short and simple because everybody's sick and tired of hearing it, but it's just the truth. Kansas City is the best team in the NFL, and there is no denying that. And I wouldn't be shocked if they three-peated. Unless number 4 comes in. They could shock some people, but anyway, now we've got the ultimate pinnacle of garbage. The worst team in the NFL. Come on now. I hate to do this. I really do. but it's the New England Patriots. Golly, man. I really... The defense could be okay. I mean, like, that's all that I can really give them. The receiver core isn't that great. If they added Calvin Ridley, they probably wouldn't be in this last place spot, but the receiver core isn't that great. O-line is not that good either. Quarterback situation is awful. All right, I like Drake May, but he is not ready to be an NFL starter. And Jacoby Brissett, obviously, he's not going to elevate the team around him. Running back, Ramondre Stevenson had one good year, and he's been riding off of that ever since. I do not see that many bright spots on this roster. I feel bad, Patriots fans. I really do. And I'm not even too sure if I like the coaching staff. I mean, I put Gerard Mayo in last place in my coaching rankings. I just don't know if he's going to be that good. I don't think he was ready. Anyway, that's the worst team in the NFL. Those are my opinions. I want y'all to let me know what y'all's opinions are on the top 5 best and worst teams in the NFL. Put that down in the comment section because I am curious. And if y'all want to call me a madman, go for it, honestly. Because I know that there are some opinions that are going to be really upsetting to some people. But anyway, that's the end of the video. I have Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok if you want to go check those out. And I post every Wednesday a podcast called The Titans Rundown. So if y'all want to go check that out, that's all cool too. But anyway, that's going to do it all for me. This has been a rundown of your Tennessee Titans. I love y'all, and tighten up.